Hey everybody, it's DG back with another episode of the Swipe File. Short episode, but I want to share this because it's something that's helped me a lot. And I want to share my secret for getting unstuck. I think one of the hardest things about being in marketing today is this need to be creative. You have to be creative today because there's so much noise and you have to constantly come up with new ideas, new campaigns, or you're going to get out innovated by your competitors, somebody trying to take your job, whatever. And so what I've found personally is that this ability to come up with ideas. Let me ask you a question, unprovoked, Dan. Do you think that I have an ability to generate a lot of ideas?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This is not a thing that came natural to me. This is something that I have learned, and I've learned it through just being super curious and reading a ton of books, watching a ton of videos, listening to a ton of podcasts. Okay. So now I have this ability to come up with ideas. But here's the problem. Even if you can come up with a lot of ideas, we're all human. We're all people. And if you're a person, you inevitably deal with something called writer's block. Writer's block is not specific to writing, but it's specific. It could be specific to making a video, to doing whatever, right? We all have that creative block. Even if you can come up with a bunch of ideas, you ultimately come into work that day and you're like, I got nothing today. My brain's not working. I can't write. I can't do anything. And so I have a little formula that has helped me not only just get unstuck, but basically this ability to just come up with an endless amount of ideas. And it's actually the name of this podcast. It's a swipe file, right? The reason why I keep a swipe file, and I'm pretty religious about it, is because I've seen it time and time again help me get unstuck. So there's a couple of things that I do. Number one is I have a bookshelf of books, and I've talked about the marketing books that have influenced me the most. I keep them at work. I have a copy at home sometimes and a copy at work. Doesn't matter. Pay $10 additional, that's gonna pay off forever for me. So I keep a stack of books either on my desk or at this bookshelf at work that I can always reference. So if I'm trying to write an email, I have so many books about copywriting and sales emails and sales copy. I can pick up one of those books, and I kid you not, within 10 minutes, go to any random page in any one of those books, you will unlock a new idea for going to write. That's number one. Number two is I also keep a digital swipe file. So I've talked about this before, but I use Evernote, and I use the Evernote web clipper, which is just a Chrome plugin you can add. And basically makes it so any web page that I'm on, I can take a screenshot of the web page and in one click, sync it to my Evernote notebook, and then I go and add tags. So if I see a great ad, I will actually screenshot the ad, save it to my Evernote file, and tag it as ads. If I see a great billboard, I'll take a picture of the billboard with my phone, send it to Evernote, tag it with billboard, and you get the thing. You get the pattern, right? All the way down to webinar ideas, email sequences, landing page templates, whatever. And then if I'm stuck or if I'm starting a new project and I need some ideas, I just go to Evernote and I literally search ads. And then it's gonna show me all of my tag notes that have ads on it. That's been a super helpful thing for getting unstuck and just kind of starting this whole creative process. The other thing, number three, though, is, okay, you have this swipe file, so you got books, you got Evernote. Three is the most important lesson, which is get away from your desk, go outside, and go for a walk. This works every time. And it's funny because I was reading, the first time I read Ogilvy on Advertising, which is a book that was written in the 70s or 60s, David Ogilvy talks about how the way to come up with new ideas is to stuff your mind with content. So we already talked about that through reading and swipe file. Stuff your mind with content and then unhook your subconscious. So this is I just call it going for a walk. He calls it unhooking your subconscious. This could be maybe you like to work out, you like to play golf, you like to play tennis, you like to go for a run, you like to go for a walk, right? Basically, the pattern is fill your mind with stuff related to the project that you're going to work on and then forget about it. Put your mind on something else. Go for a walk. And what's going to happen is, you ever notice that you're in the shower and boom, you get that great idea? That happens because your brain is not thinking about that big project consciously, but subconsciously it's working on those problems. It's also the same reason why sleeping on it works so well, right? You're frustrated with somebody and you sleep on it and you wake up the next day and you're like, you know what? I'm not as mad at Dan as I thought I was, right? It all works the same way, and it happens with the creative process and coming up with ideas as well. So if I have to go make a deck, and I have a bunch of ideas, the thing that I always do is then I go for a walk. I go for a 20-minute walk. I'll just go get a coffee or something around the block, and I come back and I'm ready to go. It's amazing how well that works. The fourth thing, so we talked about read books, swipe file, go for a walk, is to give yourself a deadline. Time is an amazing forcing function, and so a habit that I've been working on really recently is to block specific chunks of time on my calendar for doing specific tasks. So here's where I would get caught. I would know that, let's say I'm writing a new email sequence for the sales team. I got all week to do that. It's Monday. I got all week to do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm totally gonna do it. It's Wednesday, I haven't done it yet. Now it's Thursday, I haven't done it. It's Friday, I'm like, I gotta do it today. But then I get to Friday and I have no ideas and I have no inspiration. So my trick has been, this maybe just works for me, but I'm sharing it because it might be helpful for you, is to actually book that specific time on my calendar when I'm gonna do that project. So now, for example, I would book, okay, Tuesday from 2 to 4, I'm going to do the sales email sequence. Giving myself a deadline basically means that no matter what at 4 p.m. I have to ship it that day, and that something happens in my body and brain that then says, you got to come up with a good idea, because if you don't, you're not going to have any time the rest of the week to do that. So try to time box yourself. Give yourself a set period of time when either you're going to finish that project or you're actually going to go and do it. And block the time on your calendar to go and do that. So that's my little four things? Yeah. That's my little 4-step recipe for getting unstuck and coming up with better ideas. I hope it's super helpful. Let me know, holler at me on Twitter at Dave Gerhardt. Let me know how you come up with ideas, how you get unstuck, or maybe if this little formula has helped you. Dan will be happy with this episode because that's another little 7-minute nugget for getting unstuck. My secret for getting unstuck. See ya.